Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very exciting Silversea Cruises webinar. First and foremost, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. My name is Anna. I'm an Industry Relations Manager here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping before introducing our presenter. The webinar will run about 25 minutes with time for questions at the end. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions module of the webinar, and we'll get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Rachel Woodward. Rachel is Senior Director of Expedition Sales in North America for Silversea Cruises and has over 15 years of luxury travel experience. Rachel has a passion for being adventurous and loves seeing unique corners of the world that are often considered off the beaten path for most. Some of her recent trips on Silversea expeditions have taken her to the Galapagos, Svalbard, and Antarctica. And with that, take it away, Rachel.
Well, thank you so much, Anna. And I thank everyone that has joined our Galapagos webinar today. Really excited to highlight some new information with our Galapagos product. As Anna mentioned, I oversee our expedition sales for Silversea. If you have any questions after this webinar today, please follow up with me. I'll provide my email address at the end. So let's get started. Why visit the Galapagos? Year after year, the archipelago ranks as one of the top destinations in the world. The Galapagos Islands, they straddle the equator. They're just about 620 miles west of the South American coast. And what makes it so unique are the animal species, and that drew the interest of Charles Darwin in 1835. So the islands are home to some of the most fascinating creatures. You'll be within 5 to 10 feet of wildlife such as marine iguanas, giant tortoises, as well as penguins, flightless cormorants, and a variety of finches. So what makes it so special, the animals have a lack of fear with humans. So you have a lot of up-close encounters. Some of the other unique things visiting the Galapagos Islands, if you are an avid birder, your clients are going to be in ornithology heaven. They'll see finches, mockingbirds, flightless cormorants, flamingos, the frigate birds, storm petrels, and 3 different booby species. The other thing is with the marine life, a lot of cold ocean currents come from the South Pole to the west, so it really creates a unique environment for snorkeling. So I think it offers some of the best snorkeling in the world. If your clients really want to see blue-footed boobies and tortoises, they'll see that on every Galapagos voyage. The tortoises, they live well into their hundreds, and some of them weigh up to 500 pounds. Looking at the landscapes and beaches, I'll show some photos today, but some of the most breathtaking views and scenery, and the human footprint being barely visible in the Galapagos. Only about 300,000 people visit the Galapagos each year. The Galapagos is Silversea's only destination that we're year-round. So every Saturday, 7-day departures. The cuisine is wonderful, Ecuadorian cuisine, so it's very diverse. It's all locally sourced, and many of the dishes feature fresh seafood such as lobster, crab, and ceviche. And then I'll talk about in a bit family travel. This is a great destination for multi-gen travel. One of the questions we get a lot for expedition travel in general, how active is it? Some advisors will reach out and say, I don't know, my clients have never been on an expedition voyage. I don't know if it's the perfect product for them. I like to say, if you can play a round of golf, hike a flight of stairs, you can go on an expedition voyage. We cater to all different activity levels. You'll see some photos here of our Galapagos trips. We might offer a longer hike to a bird colony. And at the same time, we'll also offer a short beachcombing walk, or it might be a zodiac cruise through the mangroves, snorkeling, and then taking guests up in the highlands to see the giant tortoises. So we can really cater to different activity levels throughout the voyage. So what we're really excited to mention on today's webinar is our brand new purpose-built Galapagos ship that's launching this summer. We did have to postpone the launch by a month. So right now, mid-August will be the inaugural sailing. And the Silver Origin is one of the most environmentally friendly cruise ships ever built, which really has to do with some of the state-of-the-art technology designed specifically for sailing around the Galapagos Islands. The ship has its dynamic positioning system, which will allow the Origin to automatically maintain position without using anchors. Therefore, we're able to protect the seafloor. So that is something really unique. If you look at the ship itself, all veranda suites, so no inside rooms, ranging from about 370 up to 1,700 square feet, 100 guests, 86 crew. So almost a 1-to-1 crew to guest ratio. With that, we have 8 Zodiacs on board, 10 kayaks, and we boast some of the highest crew to guest ratios. So that's a big thing right now, especially with being on a Zodiac. Usually there's one guide to every 8 to 10 guests, so always small groups. I'll click through a couple photos here. This is a brand new area. We're calling it our base camp, which is a really nice lounge. Guests can socialize before and after excursions. You'll see a lot of Galapagos artifacts in base camp. And then we have this brand new interactive digital wall. So the expedition team will be able to access this, and a lot of it has destination related content. So they'll be able to review that with guests, showing pictures, video, and also show some image content of excursion previews so that they can see just what they're going to do that day or that evening. Outdoor lounge space offering 360-degree views of the island. So a lot of deck space throughout the ship. Public areas are beautiful as well. We have a main dining room, which is available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then we have an outside grill for lunch and dinner. Now the suites, we are offering the largest suites in the Galapagos. So 370 square feet is this veranda suite, and then we go up to 1,700 square feet for our largest suite, the owner's suites. We do have quite a few connecting rooms, which is great for family travel. We do accommodate third berths, but all the suites have walk-in closets, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a very comfortable accommodation. So that's a little overview of the Origin that we'll be launching this August. I do want to talk a bit about our all-inclusive Galapagos product. We have, I would like to say, the most all-inclusive product in the Galapagos. One unique thing with this, we do include for any guests from the US and Canada, free economy air, or guests can take an air credit. So that is available. And then other markets, there are some savings offers for that. We do include a 2-night pre-hotel stay in Quito at the JW Marriott. So majority of the time, guests will fly in on a Thursday, 2 nights pre in Quito, and then they'll board the ship on Saturday. And then it's a 7-day departure. And the following Saturday, they'll get off the ship. They'll fly to Guayaquil. We'll include a day room at the Oro Verde Hotel, and then they'll fly home Saturday evening. So 7-day voyage, but everything's included with the trip, including the pre and post. So gratuities are included on board, all your alcohol. And what's unique about expedition travel, all excursions are included. The expedition team leads all those excursions, so no signups are needed for any of the excursions. With our Galapagos guides, a lot of them, their parents, their grandparents were guides. They are passionate about the Galapagos Islands, anywhere from marine biologists, historians, botanists, photographers, videographers. And the unique thing with having 9 guides on board for 100 guests, each day you'll be with a different guide exploring ashore. So I think that is something really, really special because they lead all the excursions. I do want to talk about the 2 itineraries that we have. One of the questions that we tend to get a lot of times out in the sales field, what's the best itinerary? What's the best time of year to visit, as this is a year-round destination? I always say pick a voyage that works best for your client's travel schedule. There is not a bad time to visit the Galapagos, whether or not they're looking at a January voyage, a April voyage, or a September voyage. It's a great time to visit. So we offer a Western itinerary or North Central itinerary. Every Saturday they rotate. The Western itinerary begins San Cristobal to Baltra. And one of the unique things with that, guests will get to see penguins. So 95% of the Galapagos penguins reside on the Western itinerary. There's more reptiles on the Western itinerary. So with that, sea turtles, lava lizards, and several species of iguanas. The Western itinerary is also home to the only active volcanoes on the Galapagos Islands. So guests will be able to walk across lava fields, and a lot of zodiac cruising through mangroves. The North Central itinerary is a birder's itinerary, but I want to backtrack a bit. One thing that we get a lot too in the sales field, clients will ask, I want to see blue-footed boobies and I want to go to the highlands to see giant tortoises. Both itineraries, we offer that. So when clients are looking at that, just note you will see that on both itineraries. With the North Central itinerary, and in addition to the blue-footed boobies, guests will see red-footed boobies, the frigate birds, the Nazca booby, so up to 35 different bird species on this itinerary. They'll also be able to see the waved albatross from April through December, and a lot of good hiking opportunities. They'll hike across lava flows. They'll be able to see land iguanas, lava lizards, and then also visiting one of the oldest islands in the Galapagos, Espanola Island, where they can see these large seabird colonies to see waved albatross. One of my favorite places to snorkel on the North Central itinerary is Rabida Island, which has this beautiful marine-colored sand, and guests can also kayak along the cliffs there, or will also offer a hiking opportunity. So what I would like to do is just run through a typical day in the life, being on a Galapagos voyage, what you can expect. With the Galapagos, as you're very close to the equator, it is quite warm. So we try to have the excursions early in the morning, later in the day. Guests are back on board midday. So the excursions can start 8 or 8:30 in the morning. The expedition team will always review the evening prior, the type of activity, so you know whether or not to wear a pair of hiking shoes or a pair of water sandals. So this particular photo here, a dry landing, and it could be just a short walk to a bird colony to see the blue-footed boobies, or it could be just a short beachcombing walk to see them as well. One of my favorite birds, the red-footed boobies, and guests will also see the waved albatross, the penguins, as well as going on these stunning hikes. One of the islands here, Bartolome Island in Santiago. And what's really unique here, guests will be able to walk across a boardwalk, and they climb 388 steps to the top, and they're able to observe Pinnacle Rock. So you see that in the right-hand side of the photo. Zodiac cruising is also great. You'll have these opportunities to just observe the islands from a Zodiac, being in the Zodiac with an expedition guide. I like to call myself a water bug in the water. So water activities are great. Every day on a Galapagos voyage, we will offer snorkeling, whether or not that's snorkeling from the beach, or it could be they will take the Zodiacs out about a mile out, and for guests that are a little bit more advanced snorkelers, they can do that. We do provide the wetsuits, so we'll provide the wetsuits, the masks, the fins. This is a photo of me here. I always say, please look at our packing list. It's really important to pack a couple dry fit shirts as it's so warm. I always recommend to protect your shoulders. But you'll see 3 sea lions around, and this was every day, walking along the beach, snorkeling around sea lions, plenty of colorful fish, manta rays. I had one day, I was next to one of our expedition guides, and I had a 10-foot manta ray underneath me snorkeling for about 10 minutes. Guests that are on the Western itinerary, they'll be able to snorkel with penguins, as well as the green sea turtles, and then kayaking. So everything is included, from your walking tours, your hiking, Zodiac cruising, and then also kayaking. So we have 8 double kayaks on board, and there will be a sign-up sheet on board. They'll offer that 1 or 2 times each day. So usually during the day, you'll have your first excursion, which could also include a beach activity, and then guests are back on board midday. We try to have everyone back on board midday. That's the hottest time. And then there's options for lunch, either our main restaurant or the outside grill. I love this outside grill here. You'll see a little photo here of the board where they have red snapper, tiger prawns, fresh ceviche every day, and then all the beverages, everything is included. There's plenty of time to enjoy the vessel itself, whether or not after lunch you want to take a nap. The only additional charge on a Silversea expedition voyage would be the spa and salon. Everything else is included with the trip. So after your afternoon on board, you listen to a lecture, and then usually later in the afternoon, you'll go ashore for your second activity. This particular photo here in Floreana Island, guests are going ashore, walking along, and what's unique here, you'll be able to see baby sea turtles just nesting on the beach. So this is a big highlight here. Floreana offers some of the best snorkeling as well in the Galapagos. I also love this photo here of Punta Espinosa in Fernandina Island. Half of the volcano collapsed about 100,000 years ago. So guests will be able to enjoy a nature walk across the lava area here, and they'll be able to visit one of the largest marine iguana colonies on the island. So you see these marine iguanas, we like to say it, they're sunbathing. Zodiac cruising is also another great way, especially when you're exploring the mangrove. This particular photo in Elizabeth Bay, Isabella, if you see to the front of the Zodiac, there's actually a penguin there. So Elizabeth Bay is a marine sanctuary, and it has some of the tallest red mangrove trees. It's a really wonderful place to observe wildlife. In addition to penguins, you'll see sea turtles, sea lions, pelicans. If it clicks through the next slide, there you go. So sea turtles through the mangroves. And then, of course, we always offer a visit to the highlands in Santa Cruz to see young giant tortoises, dome-shaped, as well as saddleback tortoises. You're walking around, you're seeing some of these tortoises that are up to 100 years old, weighing up to 500 pounds. It's unbelievable how large they are, but you're going to see hundreds of giant tortoises. One of my favorite stops on the North Central itinerary is visiting Genovesa Island. You'll see here in some of the photos, there is a little bit of hiking, but anytime we offer that, there'll always be a short walk. Genovesa, you will hike up Prince Philip Steps, which they call it. It's about 20 steps to the top. You're with your expedition leader, and what's really unique about this island, it's known as Birders Island, so huge colonies of seabirds. You're going to see Nazca boobies nesting on the ground. You'll see the owl. This is the only island where you can see the Galapagos owl. And then one of my favorite birds, the frigate bird. I was there in October, which is during mating season, and this photo was taken on my iPhone. How close you can get to the wildlife. You can really take some wonderful photos. So after your second excursion, you're back on board later in the day, and there's a lot of time to just enjoy the scenery. The Silver Origin will set sail before dinner. You can be out on deck watching the sunset. They might also offer a Zodiac cruise at sunset, and then you'll come back on board. They might have a South American tapas and wine night for around 6 p.m. And then you'll listen to a daily recap and briefing. So that's the other great thing about the expedition team. They're very engaged, giving lectures throughout the day on the wildlife, the islands we visit. They'll also highlight what they saw that particular day, what you're going to see tomorrow, so you know exactly what you need to wear. And it is very informative. After the recap and briefing, then you'll head to dinner. So the day's paced really well. It's a nice schedule. Every day, 2 landings a day. So it is a wonderful trip. The other thing I want to mention, family travel. We get this question a lot. I highly recommend, if you have multi-gen families traveling together, grandparents with their children and grandchildren, promote a Galapagos voyage. It is great for families. All ages, especially with the excursions. The expedition team, they do a great job, including the children. They'll offer a couple scavenger hunts for the children. And of course, children love snorkeling. So how close you get to some of the wildlife there. But really think of this over the holiday voyages as well as spring break and summer. One thing we just announced today, we launched our winter 2021 into spring of 2022 itineraries, and that includes about 30 Galapagos voyages. So if you have clients looking at a holiday 2021 Galapagos voyage, I recommend to take a look over that the next couple weeks. Our holiday Galapagos voyages tend to sell out because of families booking those trips. So that was a little overview of our Galapagos product and all of our excursions. If you would like any of these photos, feel free to email them to me. I do want to mention a couple offers that we have in place and a new policy we have, Cruise with Confidence, future bookings to take a look at our Cruise with Confidence policy. What this allows for any voyages from now until the end of December, guests can cancel up to 48 hours prior to departure and receive 100% future cruise credit. So that really is a great offer. And if Silversea has canceled any recent voyages from March through right now, I think we're up through end of July, we're offering 125% future cruise credit or a full refund. And we did announce last month we were protecting commission on both the canceled booking as well as the future booking. So that is a great incentive for clients with that 125% FCC. Something that our sales team has started just to connect with people less, we're not really trying to focus here on offers, just more about the destinations, our virtual visits. So if you visit our landing page, silverseavirtualvisits.com, our first one was given by our managing director, Mark Conroy, and then we have a couple others. I hosted one with my colleague about Antarctica. The month of June is our Galapagos month, so we will have a new Galapagos one coming out next week, but they're short 15-minute destination training overviews. And if there are any videos or image content that you would like, we do have these short 1-minute videos that you can promote on social media. And I will, I'll provide my email address, so feel free to reach out to me and I can share those with you. Another thing that we launched last month was an offer, a double bonus offer, which provides a reduced deposit. So the deposit right now, from now until the end of June, only $1,000 USD deposit. Canadian is $1,250, and once clients pay in full, we convert that deposit to $1,000 shipboard credit. So this is a great incentive. We've actually seen a lot of bookings pick up for 2021, a lot of interest with that. We do have our early booking bonus still available, which is good until June 30th. And you can find all these details on our travel agent website. Any content that you want relating to destination information, we do have a new Discover blog. So it's discover.silversea.com. And a lot of the content is provided by our expedition team. This recent article here on the Galapagos Behind the Lens, free diving with the Galapagos sea lions. We have a new one on the Kimberleys. We have some on the waved albatross and polar bears. So a lot of it is insider tips, video content. We do have a brand new short 1-minute Galapagos video that is on the Discover blog. You can download it and there's no call to action. So you can post that on your social media content as well. And if there's any consumer webinars that you would like to host, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to host something when it comes to a particular expedition destination training. The other incentive we have is a $200 gift card, which is valid from now until June 30th, and that is a travel advisor incentive. So with that, I do want to thank you all for joining our Galapagos webinar today. I know there's probably a couple of questions here, so I'm going to turn it over to Anna.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we do have some questions coming in. Our first one is from Gaima. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but the question is, what about your older cruisers, the elderly? Do you have activities for them?
Our activities are geared for all different age groups, so it isn't a particular, age group that can only participate in this activity. Usually on a expedition voyage, let's say on a 7-day voyage, there might be 3 longer hikes. Anytime there's a longer hike, there's a short walk or a Zodiac cruise. So majority of the time, they're just short walks throughout the voyage, but we accommodate all age groups. I've traveled with guests before that are 80, 85, 90, and they do every landing. So it just depends on how physically fit guests are. But if anyone has a specific question about their clients, please send me an email. I'm more than happy to schedule a call.
Okay, perfect. And our next question, also about age, from Veronica, is how young can cruisers be for Silversea?
Great question. For our expedition voyages, 5 years old. And that really has to do with being in and out of a zodiac. But for the most part, when it comes to expedition travel, you tend to see children about 7 to like 13 years old. But 5 years is the minimum age.
Okay, perfect. We do have some people asking if you can go back to some slides. So the first one is back to the promo page.
Promo slide. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to. I'll go to this one. Maybe they just want to review that one?
Yes.
I'll keep that up there for a minute. Perfect.
Perfect. We have a question from Veronica, who is wondering about snakes in the Galapagos, if you have any information on that.
No, I'm not aware of any snakes in the Galapagos. I've never seen any, so I wouldn't be concerned with that.
Okay, good news. Our next question is from Elaine, who is wondering if you offer FAM or agent rates.
We do offer travel agent rates. I would just check our travel agent website. Usually those are confirmed 30 to 60 days prior to departure. We do not have any FAM voyages scheduled right now. One unique thing with expedition travel, just because the vessels are a little smaller, sometimes these popular trips like the Galapagos and Antarctica are a little bit more difficult to get confirmed. But I would just check out the website, and in the future, we likely will offer some travel agent rates on our Galapagos voyages.
Okay, perfect. And a couple agents are wondering if you can repeat your email or the email address that they should email to request any collateral.
Perfect. Okay, let me just click through. I'll just end it with the last slide that has my contact information. So my email address is rachelw@silversea.com. And if you would like any images relating to a particular destination, whether or not it's Galapagos, Antarctica, the Arctic, please send me an email, and I can also share short expedition 1-minute videos that you can customize and post to your social media content or your emails.
Perfect. And it looks like we just have a couple more questions from Karen. She's wondering if room service is offered.
Great question. We do offer room service fleet-wide. It's available 24 hours a day. With the Galapagos, it's a little different just with the Ecuadorian rules that they can only work a certain number of hours. So room service is available. I think it starts at around like 7 in the morning until about 11 p.m. at night.
Okay.
But I really I think that's one unique thing. Oh, keep going. I was just going to say with expedition travel, I really like room service, especially for breakfast. A lot of times because the excursions are started so early, it's nice to order room service before your first excursion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it looks like this will be our last question. I know you already touched on this. The question from Karen is, are you planning to update the Travel Advisor FAM reduced rate program on My Silversea?
We will. Over the next month, there should be some more information. I think right now, just because with not knowing when Silversea, and I think most cruise lines are in the same position when we're going to be able to operate, that's probably why it hasn't been updated, but we will share information as soon as we have details available on our travel agent site. We'll include that in our Explore email, which is sent out every week to travel advisors.
Okay, perfect. And just one last slide request. Can you go back to the all-inclusive slide, please?
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to have to click. I think that was at the beginning, so pardon me.
Perfect. And while everyone is looking at this, I just want to thank everyone so much for your time, for being here. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing all this wonderful information, and I hope everyone stays safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good one.